The Hangout is live and we're making a podcast. Welcome to the Real Estate Agent Show, episode 44. Hey, folks, we're experimenting out there and we are up on Google Plus and we're doing this show. And I think we're going to get some pretty good sound. But one thing we want you to do, we want you to listen and enjoy. We're going to go over some slides so you'll be able to go either to you'll be able to go to mail-right.com or go over to podcastershome.com, which is mine. And of course, we're Jonathan Denwood from mail-right.com and of course, Bill Conrad from Podcasters Home and also a real estate broker here in Reno, Nevada, and California. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Jonathan, this is going to be about 3 types of content that will make your blog better.
That's right, Bill. Basically, there was a great article on Inman. It was from Justin Kirby. And he goes through kind of 3, I call them buckets of the type of blog posts that you should are most suitable for a real estate agent to talk about. And he starts off with viral content. But I'll just give you the 3 examples that he gives that he links to this bucket. It's like 10 restaurants, the 10 best restaurants you should visit in Reno. Right, the 5 most popular places to retire in Northern Nevada. What are the happiest cities in Northern Nevada? That type of stuff, right?
Okay, and he talks about when should you start a podcast. Well, it was 20 years ago. They're barely around 20 years ago. It would have been tough to do, but if you can't start it 20 years ago, the best time to start it is tonight, right now, when you're listening to the show.
Yeah. Then he goes on to the next bucket, and that's what he calls discovery content. And basically, what the safest housing investments in Northern Nevada, the 5 best public schools in Reno. We've discussed that on previous shows, haven't we, Bill?
Yes.
And what expect from the Reno housing market in 2016. That's another topic that we've discussed in previous shows, isn't it, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then he goes on to bucket number 3. He calls it consideration content. I've never heard of that before, but I call it kind of personal content. So he gives like client testimonials. We've discussed that before, why they're so important. And then he talks about personal stories, and that would be, we've seen that on your Karen's blog when she's talked about the gymnastics helping your daughters. People love that stuff, don't they?
Yes, they do, about you, and they get to know you and trust you by doing that. And we'll show that webpage in a second.
Yeah, they love that. And then new listings, we've talked about that. You could do a kind of whisper campaign. I've just got this new listing on and I'm sharing it on the blog and on my Facebook. Just the people that follow me. I'm just giving you the eyes up before it goes on all over Reno, that type of thing. We've discussed all that before. So I think we've been on the right track, haven't we, Bill? I think we've given some good advice over the weeks because he's kind of confirming it.
I know it's working for Karen. I absolutely know it's working right now. You've seen it, Jonathan. She's like exploding right now this year.
Which is great.
I mean, it's really refreshing to see that. In fact, I'm going to put more effort in the backside of being her assistant in real estate, helping her using some of these tools. So blogging. Okay, now let me talk a little bit. With 25 years of running brokerages, having agents, most agents aren't going to blog. That's just a fact. Most of them are too lazy, not lazy, but I don't know. They just don't blog. Karen won't necessarily. She'll blog a little bit. I'll help her get the ideas. And I bought like Grammarly. Grammarly helps you to blog. We really down the road we'll do another show on what kind of tools you can buy to help you blog faster.
Great. I think that's a great idea.
So, but this is a nice little, really good outline of all the basic rules and really excellent for real estate agents. So I would have to congratulate Justin. Now, was Justin supposed to be our guest? We're going to get him on the show.
No, it was Andrew, but he's going to come on later on this in April.
Oh, very good. So we'll give a little pre-work up here so people can go and check out his site ahead of time. So anyway, this is really good. So going on, there's, if you guys want to see, for those who want to go over to wp-tonic.com/blog, right? Episode 44.
No, it's sorry, Bill, it's Mail Right.
Excuse me. Folks, our #1 show is wp-tonic.com, which is number 2 in its category in WordPress. Jonathan should be very proud of that. And our real estate show, which takes a lot of that technology from WP Tonic, is called mail-right.com, which Jonathan has a SaaS product, which you might want to buy someday. But we'll leave that for the advertising later and talk more about these sites. Now, this is a simple, for those who are looking right now, and this is a simple blog site on Karen's. And what she has, I'll describe it for the listener out there who's on iTunes. She basically takes her listings and sticks them up anytime she does an open house and puts that up as a blog and advertises that and emails that out to people who she may think would be interested in the neighborhood. She puts interactive maps and she puts a lot of tagging, which your assistant can do, or if you really want to get into blogging, you can learn from. And that gets her some good SEO. And it also makes the people feel good. She also puts a simple map out of Google Maps so you can see it, which, by the way, on your smartphone, you can pull this up and just hit the button and drive right to it because the driving instructions are right above it. And in smartphones, they'll interact. And then the big thing we've done, which has got some really nice SEO, is we've put her Christmas letter up with pictures well tagged. And Jonathan, for the real estate agent listener out there, the tagging is something you do to the pictures so you get people to find your site faster, and tagged it. So those are some of the things you can do. Now, folks, I helped her out a lot with this post. It was all her ideas, and I helped her write it, and she read it. But I'm like her assistant when we do this because she's so busy doing real estate. And it does work. So I think it's a team sport. It's real estate now, especially if you're going to do this.
It's really come along a lot, and it looks really good,
Yeah.
Bill.
So maybe if you have a child or something, or a high schooler or an older child who might want to help you without being licensed, they can help you on your websites and on your blogging and those types of things. So driving on, blogs are really good. They're helpful. And I think we can do something called a vlog, which you need to start later, which there's no vlog on here. You notice that? She could add a vlog to this. And folks, what vlog is, it's basically taking a YouTube clip and putting it on here. And those would be very productive to have.
Yeah, that's got a question for you, Bill. Most busy, would I be right, unless most busy agents are going to have an assistant, aren't they?
We talked about this when you need an assistant. And when you first start in real estate agent, you don't necessarily need an assistant, but you're not going to make over $50,000. So once you start getting more than one transaction a month, you definitely need an assistant. Now, if you really want to power your way through, see, the problem is when you first start, you have to learn how to be a real estate agent. And even with an assistant, if you don't know how to be a real estate agent, you're not going to, you probably, unless you know everybody in town, aren't going to really utilize that assistant. But pretty fast, you need to get an assistant. And your first transaction, you need to have a transaction coordinator help you with that. That's a good way to start without getting an assistant. Assistant is like a person that works just for the agent, but a transaction coordinator can handle many transactions for many real estate agents. So yeah, I would suggest a transaction agent, but an assistant as soon as you start making $50,000, $60,000. Or if you have a child, like I said, have them start looking and playing around with stuff.
So I think what you're saying is when you're time rich but money poor, you can probably handle it yourself. But when you become time short and money rich, it's probably time to get an assistant.
Yep. No, as soon as you start making some transactions, get an assistant because you'll make that money back. Here's some other things too, as we talked about. If you noticed, here's just a list like area schools and ski resorts that are on this little package, sold properties. And I don't like this picture. I won't talk about that on the podcast, but it's okay. But I do like this. It'll circle me right back. See what it did?
Yeah.
That's a PDF. So folks, anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go on a couple other things we talked about. We just did a blab with Greg McDaniel from the Bay Area, and we'll probably have the blab hooked into the website too if you want to go see it. mail-right.com/blog, as well as you can go over to Today Podcaster's Home. We'll have something up /44 for this episode. So this Scout, remember Greg talked about Scout. What do you think about Scout?
I don't know much about it, Bill. He lost me a little bit. So can you give us some info about it?
Well, I'll see. It's kind of neat as I learned. I never heard about it until tonight, till the podcast, until the blab. But Scout, there's a nice little pop-up. Scout this is really nice. So you put a town in like Reno, Nevada, you do this, then it's going to give you information. So I'm going to go home. It already has Reno, Nevada. See, no, I didn't do that. So Reno, Nevada, and then you go like public schools. It's going to talk about all the public schools. Apparently, it's going to map them. So it's got all sorts of little mapping toys. But ironically, he had a bunch of real estate people pop up, and I don't on mine. I've got some of my research I've been doing for my show. This is a real estate one, but he's on a lot of my stuff. This is an investor one. See that, Jonathan?
Yeah.
So, but it's got like these different parts of Reno. I'm hitting right now. Go overview. Oh, I see how it works. There you go. So I'll play them around more and more in Scout. So you find that neighborhoodscout.com. And it's pretty interesting to tell the truth. I don't know if it's quite like Zillow. We could talk about Zillow sometime too.
There seems to be a number of these products that are kind of in the Zillow territory, don't they?
Yeah, who knows where they're getting this data from?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good data. It looks good.
Yeah.
So, and this is just some other pictures of stuff. So that's Scout. And then we went to Homescape. You remember what we talked about Homescape?
Yeah, I pronounce it Homesnap.
Oh, excuse me. Disregard what I said. Homesnap, HOMESNAP.com.
Yeah, look, this is the one I looked at in more detail, and it does a very similar thing to Scout. They seem two very similar products. Agents seem to be, I imagine on both products, agents can advertise themselves. When I did it, a local agent appeared, you clicked their image, and it went to quite a nice looking landing page for the agent.
Okay, very good. So yeah, I'll play around with this. Maybe we'll talk about this later in detail. And then finally, we're going to a couple more things we're going to talk about. And Jonathan and I talked about this extensively, and we're playing with it. Is the idea of taking your smartphone out and getting up YouTube video about your house. And here's some new toys. Here's some toys that you can play with. How do you say that? IOgrapher? IOgrapher?
Yeah, IOgrapher. That's how I would pronounce it, Bill.
So it's iographer.com. Interesting website. Easy website. I don't know if it's easy to remember that. I wonder what IO stands for. Multi-purpose filmmaking case from
the OX operating system, maybe.
IO?
Yeah, IOX.
OX. OX would be good.
Yeah.
You could say it.
So what do you think? Well, what do you think of some of their kit then?
That's beautiful. I mean, what they're doing. I've seen some of the stuff when we talked about this. I use some of the iRing mic lav. Anything iRing is pretty darn good for your phone for quality sound. The Rode mic is very good. There's a Rode on here. I'm sort of going through this, and it stabilizes stuff. So anyway, we can't pause this, but let me message. My wife just called. My wife is on the road somewhere between here and New Orleans. She's not doing real estate today. Anyway, driving on. So we're looking at the mics and on this page, we're looking at the equipment. They've got some beautiful packages. I will study this more, and it's gorgeous. I think this is where it is in real estate. You can get some good video up, but you can't do this yourself. You got to have help. You cannot do all this yourself as a real estate agent.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. Unless you're really techo, you're into this.
If you're techo, you can't. Because if you're techo, you're not doing your work talking to people.
This is true. I think you're right. What you said in previous episodes. I think the social media and the blogging can be done by an assistant if you get up to that level. I really honestly think that should be part of the assistant's job. But I think apart this video and all this stuff, Bill, I think it's where you said where you have an office and you have teams.
Right. You have, well, I think a 2-person team can actually do a heck of a lot of stuff. And then you just have a processor. A processor should be supplied from a broker, and you just pay the processor. Yeah. We had pretty good processing in our office. Now, like I can't wait to start a brokerage again and set some new streamlines. You start small with a couple teams and build up again. I really look forward to that someday. In the meantime, we got to get Karen just being a rock and roll super agent and get the new media working and all of the different environments working. Hey, that said, Jonathan, I want to tell the real estate agent about, I know Mail-Right is what you've developed for real estate agent. We'll talk about that for a second. But I think the WP-Tonic.com is something that your assistant should be looking at. that they should be the tech person and they should be learning WordPress. They should be learning how to help you with a podcast locally or videos locally. But your support package is a really great place to start with DigitalOcean if you want a really first-class site, and your maintenance package, which is about $50 a month to help them out. And they'll get a little personal information. So I think that's a good product. That's what I think the agents need. They also can use the other product, but I think that's a darn good product.
Well, I think that's another area we've discussed in previous episodes, that this, and surely most agents would understand this, that, you know, when it comes to a website, I think you should go for ownership, not leasing. And a lot of these packages that are aimed at real estate, you're leasing, and you should run your own website on your own with support, but you're into ownership there, not leasing. Does that make sense, Bill?
Yeah, no, I understand it. Yeah, and you can always get it back. You can transfer it back. There's different ways. You can talk to people about that, the maintenance packages, things like that. But going over, have your assistant go over, watch wp-tonic.com. You can find it on a podcast too. Right. So that's all I'm saying. The agent doesn't need to bother themselves. They just need to have the agent, their assistant, go watch it and let the assistant figure it out and give you advice. And that said, I want to talk about a little something I'm working on. I'm working on, if you go a lot of different sites, I've got 20 sites, and that's a problem. But I have timelinesofsuccess.com, and you can find the links there under resource. Go into any of my resources page or podcastershome.com. What I'm doing is I'm creating basically a social media training platform, and primarily teaching people how to take a basic blab, which we'll talk about later, how to take some recordings and put it up on YouTube before you go into podcasting, sort of a process. And where we're having luck with Karen, my wife, is I've gone up and interviewed some really interesting people in town. The congressman, I've created a little simple blog website, and which is timelinesofsuccess.com. And we, from those interviews, we have made relationships, and they are using Karen as their broker. It's amazing how powerful that relationship is locally. The other thing we've done was we interviewed some vendors who we consider to be very good, taken pictures of them, and then put up on Karen's site as well as Timelines. We talk about them and their background, why we like them. And that also helps us get more leads. So, I mean, that's what I'm working on, which is something we're just starting, but I'm going to make a track just for real estate agents. I'm making a general track and a track just for real estate agents, how they can apply that. Because I didn't know if it was going to work a year ago. I've been podcasting for 2 years, but when I started, I didn't know if it was going to work, and it's definitely working.
Yeah, so I think it's a great product and a great idea, because I think agents, they're going to need to use Periscope, Snaps.
They can do that themselves. Yeah,
and they're going to have to do kind of podcasting, video casting, everything you just said.
Yeah. I've been tracking Blab, and I like Blab a lot. I don't see any real estate agent really using Blab well right now.
No, it's quite strange, isn't it?
So it's not a good interview platform.
Yeah.
So I think maybe what we're doing here, Google Plus Hangout, or better yet, I'm trying to develop some ways where you can just go and take your iPhone, set it up somewhere, 2 mics, and just talk to somebody. And I think that's easier. So Jonathan, I think this is going to be a cut for this this show of the real estate.
I think it's been great, Bill. Actually, I think we've covered some interesting stuff.
And I like how we did it, folks. If you don't know, we're trying a lot of different things right now. And again, we've created a very successful podcast over in the WP Tonic and the WordPress side of the world for iTunes. And we're looking at how do we take that same success and apply it to real estate, and using the tools that we talk about that the agents should be using. So how's that sound for a cut?
That sounds great, Bill.